Hey, this is Nate, my partner is Daniel, and this is our final project demonstration for CS 6730. Our goal here is to explain a region of the ocean called the Benguela Upwelling System, going from the science behind the system to its ecological and economic implications, and finally to where research on the system is actually being conducted. So we use several types of data sets implemented in a D3 storytelling framework. We start with this view of the Southeast Atlantic Ocean and some geospatial satellite data from NASA. In this dataset, we can see winds caused by the land-sea contrast against the shore of southern Africa. These winds cause water from deep in the ocean interior to be sucked up to the surface or upwelled. This water is colder, as shown here in this dataset, and full of nutrients. Those nutrients support a huge population of phytoplankton, the base of the marine food web. This population is so huge you can actually see them from space. Satellites can detect the large amounts of chlorophyll in the water that has recently come up to the surface. So we move on to provide some background on what the different kinds of planktons are that make up the local microbial community. This phytoplankton population supports a large ecosystem full of fish, which actually have lots of economic importance for the region. Here we show some United Nations data on the amount of fish produced by countries in the region from the founding of the UN until now. We also introduce some more interaction, as users can highlight and inspect country data and see a corresponding line in the chart on the right-hand side light up when you hover over the relevant country. Moving on, we also show a similar view depicting the number of fishers and fishing vessels in different countries. So the Benguela Upwelling System shows that there are a ton of natural resources available to the system's adjacent countries. However, World Bank data shows that these nations still have relatively small GDPs compared to the global north. It turns out that those countries who have the most wealth have also more or less cornered the market on studying the Benguela Upwelling System, not the countries that are most reliant on the system. We know this because we conducted a literature meta-analysis and found the country affiliations of the authors on nearly 500 published research studies. We depict the research papers as green lines from the system to the country of the researchers. As you can see, the vast majority of papers are published by the United States and by European Union member states. We also depict co-authorship between multiple countries as blue lines, which visually confirms that international collaborations occurred mostly only between the United States and European countries. This is a problem in environmental science known as parachute science, where well-funded labs from wealthy countries conduct research on locations in the global south without involving or directly sharing that knowledge with people local to the region who have a much larger stake in their environment. So we put this visualization together to essentially draw attention to the discrepancy between which countries are most impacted by the Benguela Upwelling System and which countries are actually studying it. The accompanying article text in our project has more details that we encourage you to read, but hopefully from this video you've received a basic understanding of what the Benguela Upwelling System is and how it's economically important. And also we hope that you keep in mind the meaning of parachute science as you go forward as a fledgling researcher or data scientist.